When the morning light breaks through the sky, feel the power within, it's time to rise. Every challenge, every fight, you are stronger, you are the light. Dreams are calling, don't you see? You're the captain of your destiny. With every step, with every stride, feel the fire, let it guide. Rise and shine, the world's in your hands. Take a stand, make your plans. With your heart, with your mind, you're unstoppable, one of a kind. Rise and shine, the valleys over peaks, in every silence, in every speech.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from wherever you're watching or listening from. Hey, it's been a couple of weeks, so welcome back and welcome if this is your first time to the Future Focus podcast. I'm Latina, your Future Focus PM, providing you with news and information in project management and AI. Thanks for tuning in and catching this podcast, whether you're catching it live or by the replay. And also, let me know where you're listening and watching from. I'd love to know that. And of course, as always, please go ahead and comment, engage with the content that I'm going to share with you today. And if you're not already, go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn or all other platforms as Latina L. Lewis. All right. So let's get into the conversation. This particular podcast is going to be slightly different and probably slightly different going forward with future installments. So the name of this particular, or the title of this, is Repurpose Research Smarter with NotebookLM. So I'm going to do a demonstration of an AI software called NotebookLM. Some of you may be familiar with it. If not, let's take a look. I think you'll find it very interesting. I did when I first got into this. This is a completely free software that you can use to actually do research and also repurpose, among other things, which I'll talk a little bit about. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go and pull up my window here to do my demo. So I'll drop the link in the chat, but it's basically notebooklm.google.com. It is a completely free service, as I said. So you can log in with your Google account. I logged in with one of my Gmail accounts. Once you get to that point, you'll get to a screen that looks very similar to what you see here. I was playing around with it earlier with under this login with the terms of service research that I was doing, and I'll talk about all of that here in a second. But once you get to the point where you're logged into the site, you can go ahead and click Create New. So let me go ahead and adjust my screen over on this side, and then I'll go ahead and Create New. And then you have some options. When you get into this part where you can upload information, you can add sources. First of all, you can add up to 50. Down here at the bottom, there's a spot where you can add up to 50 sources. Right down there. And then the types of sources you can upload are varied. So right in here, you can upload your PDFs, your text documents, even audio, like your MP3 files. It'll actually pick up audio as well. In addition, you can add documents from Google Drive simply by clicking here. You also can add links from a website or a YouTube channel or a YouTube video. And you can also just go ahead and copy the text right from anywhere, okay? So I'm gonna do a couple of different demos with this just to show you what you have access to and what you can do. So I'm going to actually click on the YouTube option. And when I do that, it tells me to paste the YouTube URL. Now, I have a video on my YouTube channel that I did a couple of years ago about organizing your emails in Outlook. It got a lot of views. So I'm actually going to click on share here, and I'm going to copy the URL, and then I'm going to go back into Notebook and paste that there, and then insert. Now, what it's going to do, it's going to grab the source. So the source is going to show here, right? And then I can add more sources. I can go in and click this plus sign up here to add additional sources. So right now, my only source is the YouTube link or the YouTube recording that I did. And here is where all of the magic happens, right? You immediately get a summary of this particular video. It says the YouTube video from Latina Lewis, a project manager at Kingsman Point Consulting, provides a detailed tutorial on how to organize emails in Microsoft Outlook. The video covers a variety of tips and tricks, including creating rules to automatically move emails, so on and so forth. So it gives that summary right away. I'm going to click this generate button because it's going to take a little bit of time to generate this. I'm not going to do this for every demo that I do, but I am going to do it for this one. And I'll show you what it gives me once we're done. But now that I have this source loaded, there's a couple of things I can do. Remember, this is a video, so I can create a briefing document just by clicking here. So I'm sitting here in this notebook guide right now, and I have some options. One of them is a briefing guide. When I click it, it goes ahead and starts a new note and it begins generating. And in a few minutes, it's going to go ahead and create this briefing document. So if you see here, here's my briefing document. So it literally goes through the main themes. It talks about important ideas and facts. So subject-based sorting, prioritizing key contacts, direct movement to folders, folder management, and it gives some key takeaways and some further consideration. So I could print this off and use this as maybe my summary notes for this video. Okay, that's one thing. And then if I click outside of it, it takes me right back. Now to get back to the notebook guide, I would simply click here. And then I can also create a study guide. Now, why would I need a study guide for this video? I don't know. But you might be thinking, just as I'm doing this, of ways you can use this. But this will create a study guide. So just within a few minutes. And keep in mind that this video is probably about 20 minutes long, if I remember correctly. Again, I did it 2 years ago. So it's a 20-minute long video, I believe. So the longer your content, the longer this may take. So just keep that in mind. So again, it creates a lovely little study guide. Okay. So instructions, it gives basically this is the quiz. It's a 10-question quiz, and then it gives answers. Okay. Can you think of documents you can repurpose for this? Like if you've got content that you've created maybe for your end users, for you're on a project team, and maybe you've created some documents for like some help documents or support documents, maybe some ways to quiz them on that material that gets them ready for the next go live, for example. You can create a study guide from that material that you've created. That would be cool, right? So there's that. Now let's look. Now I can go back down to my notebook guide. That is still generating a conversation. So I'm going to let that continue to move. So I'm going to continue on. I'm going to click all of these. Again, all of these may not be needed based on the content, but it'll also create an FAQ document. That definitely could help you in a situation where you're working with your project team is working with your stakeholders, and you've created maybe some documents for them. You can then take those documents, drop it here, and create an FAQ document. So this is an Outlook email organization FAQ. Now I will tell, does this make go bigger? Let me see. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, but I can click it. So yeah, it only gets this big, but you can actually go in and like copy and paste this out of here into a note. But yeah, you can just like click and drag and copy. So FAQ, how can I automatically move emails from a specific client to a dedicated folder? So, I mean, you can go through this. And of course, as I've said in previous podcasts, anything that you create out of AI, you are going to want to read it, make sure that it's right. I have used this a couple of times, and what I found is that I actually tried it with a voice, with an MP3 voice recording from a meeting that I had. It doesn't get all the words right. So words of maybe a person's name, it may not hear it correctly. So you will want to read this and make sure and wordsmith it to make sure it's actually giving you accurate data, as with any AI tool that you're using, right? So there's that. So I've created 3 documents here, a briefing document, a FAQ, and a little quiz. Let me go back to my, Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get to this in a second. Now, the other thing you can do is that you can actually chat. You can actually ask questions, and it'll use the source to give you answers. So I could say, let me think. Tell me, what does this document tell me about using folders? Okay. So I just typed in a question in the chat, and then it goes to the source, and then it gives me this document outlines how to use folders in Microsoft Outlook to organize emails and keep your inbox clean. One method is to create a rule that automatically moves emails to specific folders based on criteria such as the sender or keywords in the subject line. So it goes in and highlights that, and it even I think this little number here, if you click on it, it gives you the specific instance in the transcript of the video of where that came from. So you can chat with the source, if you will, to get answers that way also. Pretty cool. I found this to be pretty accurate. Like save for, like I said, it not really spelling certain words correctly, like proper names or maybe some other types of words that it just doesn't hear correctly. Okay. Now, here's the other piece that I found again interesting. I had it generate this conversation. It actually creates an audio podcast between two individuals talking about the source that you uploaded. This is a 13-minute video, or I'm sorry, 13-minute audio. So let's listen to a couple of beats of it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're all about getting things done, and today we're tackling something that I think we all struggle with, and that is email organization, especially in Outlook.
Oh, yeah.
It can be a real beast, right?
Absolutely.
Hundreds, maybe even thousands of unread emails just staring back at you.
It's a black hole.
It is, isn't it? But what if I told you that your inbox could be like this well-oiled machine? Everything's in its place. You can find what you need instantly.
Sign me up.
Right. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. And we've got some amazing insights from project management expert Latina L. Lewis and her YouTube tutorial.
I love her.
She is fantastic. And, even she was talking about people dealing with thousands of emails.
Okay, wait. I don't know these people. They love me. Who are these folk? Okay, so let me just tell you I've never pulled this video in. I tested this with something completely different. So I'm about to listen to the rest of that because that was funny. So the voices that you hear are just two random people, male and female, talking about the source in a podcast format. So it's going to go through that whole spiel. I'm so glad it said my name correctly. That was cool. But anyway, so yeah, where could you use that? You could repurpose that in a lot of ways. Maybe you've got some content that you want to allow your end users to consume differently. Some people will read your content and they'll get it. This is another way to present your content. You can download this. You can just go here. You have a little download button here. And I think, you have a download button here. You cannot change at least not in this tool. You can't change the voices at all. So that's one thing. I mean, I've watched other videos of people I say painstakingly because I feel like, as these tools evolve, it'll get easier of taking this audio and changing out the voices. That it can be done. I've seen it done. It's a lot of steps. But if you're just using this maybe internally or maybe using it to reinforce some documents that you already have, this could really work well for that. Okay. I thought that was cool. The fact that they said, well, anyway, I just love her. I'm like, I don't know you, ma'am. Who are you? Anyway. So that's one piece of the puzzle here. So I can go in and create a timeline. I can create that. I think what's cool is a table of contents. That could be a really good thing that if you're creating internal support documents or external support documents, you can create a table of contents here, potentially without having to do it yourself. You can see if that's something that actually, is going to be beneficial with the way it lays out and how it sets up. Right? So there's that. So the other thing too is at the top here, you can label it. So I'll just call this Outlook. Outlook video. All right. And then label it there. So that's that. I mean, you can literally go in and chat with this document, come back to this later. Now, let's do a couple of other sources. I want to, we're good on time. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of other sources just so you can see how those load. So the other thing I wanted to do was I wanted to do let's see. Oh, yeah. So let's say you have if you're a person that is that writes blogs, or again, you have any content that's out there that you want to repurpose in some way. I'm using blogs as an example. So in that case, I'm going to copy the text. So I'm going to click here where it says paste text. I created a new notebook. I'm going to click on copied text, and then it's asking me to paste it. So I'm going to go to my website where I have a blog that I wrote a while ago. It was about testing the waters, beginning your project management odyssey. So I'm just going to actually go in here and just click and drag. Now, this is something I haven't tested outside of this. This is my first time doing this one. So Control C, and then I'm going to go back into Notebook and Control V. I'm not going to really worry about spacing there and just do insert. Okay, so it pastes the text there. And it comes up the same way. It gives you the summary. I'm going to generate this. I might not depending on the timing, I might not listen to this one, but it'll do the same thing. It'll take a few minutes to generate. You can do other things while that audio part is generating. But again, I can go ahead and create a briefing document about that blog post. So some of your long form content that you have out there, those of you that are, you're a project manager, but you also put content out, you're a content creator. This could be a great way to repurpose your content. So yeah, so here's my briefing document. Okay. And it'll go through all the rest of that. So what do you guys think? Put in the chat. What are some ways you can use this? Have you guys used this before? I really thought it was a great tool, and it's completely free. And I'm going to say this for now, because you never know, as demand increases on certain products, you never know. But right now, this is a completely free tool. I'm taking things that are already out in the internet, on the web, if you will. So and of course, with anything with AI, you don't want to pull anything in that's like trade secrets, proprietary information. If you need to de-identify something, you can do that, right? So there's that. The other thing, so I'll say this too. Outside of project management, outside of content creation, you can use this very practically. Like, for example, I know all of you, everybody that's listening and watching right now, I'm sure when you see those terms of service agreements for like YouTube, your cell phone, I am sure you are running to read that from start to finish, right? I'm sure you are. Yeah, I'm sure. But if you aren't, all right, those terms of services that are like, font 8 and 8 pages long, that you scroll down to the bottom of and say, I agree. Well, you could drop that into Notebook and actually let it summarize. So for example, this is a Google privacy or a Google terms of service that I pulled up, and I actually downloaded the PDF already. So I'll do one more demo here. What was this one? This was blog. I'll just label that one blog. All right, and then I'm going to go back out here. I'm going to click up here. That takes me back to my home, and you can see my notebooks stacking up here. Then I'm going to create new. This time, I'm just going to choose a file to upload, and I have that terms of service agreement uploaded here, or downloaded from the website. Same thing, right? You can now give yourself a briefing document on this terms of service. And you can chat with it, particularly if you're concerned about maybe privacy issues, or you can ask it, what are my rights in terms of data control? I mean, I could probably be a little more clear with that, but you're concerned about, your rights in terms of how much data is yours. So you may ask it a question. So if you're purchasing something, or you want to know more about what's going on with your phone, or what have you, and you haven't read those terms of service, because maybe you read it and then you say, you know what, I don't think I want this product anymore. I don't think I want this app on my phone anymore. I'm going to delete it. This could be a way for you to get that information. So I asked that question. It says, just a couple of the highlights. It says you retain ownership of your content. All right. You grant Google a license to use your content by agreeing to the terms, so on and so forth. You can remove your content. So it's giving me information with regards to content based on what I asked it. Now, if you want to listen to a podcast about your terms of service, okay. You can do that. It may be more interesting than reading it, right? I mean, or chatting with it. That might be a great way to get the content, is to have this generate a, I don't know. I've seen it generate the last time I was using this, I did a session just this past weekend with a group of awesome female women project managers. It was great. And I demoed this there, and it generated, and I think I demonstrated it with this term of service agreement, and it generated a podcast that had to be 30 minutes, I think it was. It was fairly long. So just keep in mind that your longer content may get you longer audio, but again, that might be easier to consume than you reading it verbatim, and this might give you the impetus to read certain portions that are of interest to you, or just make sure you have an overall gist of what the document's about. All right. Okay. That's my story, guys. This is NotebookLM. I think this was a really great tool. I found it to be. The link is in the chat. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know if you use it for anything. If you don't use it for anything project management related, tell me how you use it practically. Tell me how you use it with your content creation or whatever creative thing that you're doing. All right. Okay. Thanks for joining, guys. I hope it was helpful. Go check out my free resources on my website. This is one of 2 sessions that I'm going to be doing in the month of November, and I won't be doing any future focused podcasts for the remainder of the year, as I just kind of reset, ramp up for the new year, as I'm sure all of you are. We're coming into the holiday season, so check me out next week for the next installment. I have an inkling of what it's going to be. It's going to be another demo. So just check me out there. If you have some thoughts on what you'd like to see demoed, let me know. All right. Have a great one. See ya.